Good afternoon, everybody. This is Chris Scully, Bob Spitz, and Phil Purnell coming to you live from Drive. And today's topic is analyzing your marketing. So I'm pretty sure most every shop knows that at some point or another, they're going to have to market. But I think a lot of people get confused about how to determine if their marketing is working.
And what marketing to do.
Right. And we're going to touch on both of those things in today's show. And our guest, Phil Purnell, he's part of Drive's agency services team. Phil, give everybody a little bit of an idea of your background and what you do here at Drive.
Sure. I'm the digital strategy manager here at Drive. That's the tag they put on me. I've been doing this marketing wise for about 20 years now. Actually previously had my own agency. So I've got a couple of decades in marketing auto repair shops and other similar verticals. Here at Drive, I have a couple of different responsibilities. One of them is to help kind of craft and maintain what we offer to our clients, marketing product wise, services wise, try to make sure those processes are smooth. What we're offering is hitting on the mark. Also play a part in presenting to clients, analyzing, what they're currently doing, what we can do to help, and just, try to lend my experience to help just educate, team members, Drive clients, and whoever will listen to me, basically, guys.
Well, that's great. Chris and Phil, a lot of people know my background. I've been in this crazy industry for a long time. I don't want to say how long. People think I'm old or something, but marketing was always kind of a second thought. And it was something, when I started in this industry, it was something very simple.
Yellow Pages ad.
Yes.
Yellow page ad and a business card, and you were pretty much in good shape. And as long as you didn't abuse the customers too badly, they came back because they had to. The cars were so poorly built. And it's evolved. It's always been a moving target, but it's evolved so much, and it's gotten so sophisticated, marketing in today's world, that it demands to have someone like Phil on board.
Yeah, no, great way to put it, Bob. I mean, the word of mouth. Even that's, in the old days, from what I remember, hey, who's fixing your car? And you'd ask your neighbor, and they tell you. And even that nowadays has gone away. Everyone goes to the internet. It's just a different way of doing things. It's a different consumer these days.
Yeah.
You have to adapt. And
well, the internet is a modern day word of mouth.
Yeah, correct. And a lot of times you're going off of not knowing who that word of mouth's coming from. So it's and adapting is one thing too, but you have to do it wisely. Because like you were just stating, there's so many different ways that the marketing can tug you, especially on the digital landscape these days, that you really have to, analyze things and make sure you're not spending money where you're not supposed to be spending it. You're putting it where it counts. So it's important to be able to sometimes actually simplify it, make something that can be complicated a little bit more simple, and for it to make sense. And I think that's a key component to things being successful. And that's kind of what we do here at Drive. It's kind of what one of my major roles is to talk to our clients and prospective clients and talk to them in a way to where they'll understand it too. I think, guys, that's important. Letting people know that, 1 + 1 is 2, and not overcomplicating it, and putting it in a way to where it's understandable, it's trackable, and it's digestible, because it can be overwhelming these days.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's not uncommon for a small business person. And like I said, I've been in this business a long time. When you're not sure what to do, you tend to do nothing, which is just deadly when it comes to marketing. Or you fall victim to someone who's selling marketing, who knows how to sell, but really doesn't know marketing.
Absolutely.
And then you buy some form of advertising, it doesn't work. And then you go, you see, I told you it doesn't work.
You mean
they don't market?
You mean the back of the cash register receipts thing isn't good?
Yeah,
Or the old placemats at the diner.
at the diner. I was just going to
Right.
say that. Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys are right. I mean, good marketing is also not spending bad money.
Right.
And I tend to present that just about on every call. It's like it's doing nothing is actually okay. It's not okay, but it's not bad marketing because we run into a lot of clients that are spending money that just isn't producing. So not only can you kind of bottle that up and reel that back in, but you can also put in things into effect that does produce or do produce. So good marketing is not always, it is, hey, it's making money, it's got a return on investment, but you're stopping you from spending money, where you shouldn't be. And that's costing you. So really great point.
Yeah.
All right, let's
absolutely.
talk about this a little bit as far as, all right, so we have a shop and maybe they're doing okay in terms of customer count, car count, but they want to do better. What are some of the things that we would look for in analyzing that shop's marketing?
Well, I mean, if somebody is not looking for the car count, to me, I always like to be forward thinking in my marketing. So having car count today is good. I would look at what is driving that car count up. I would look what's helping maintain that car count. And honestly, it's even when your marketing's good, you want to try to find a hole in it so you can fill it. So looking and analyzing where the car count's coming from, if something's not producing, work on that, but also forward think, because what is working today may not always work. As you both know, everything runs through Google these days. There's 1,000 things. I tell people this. There's Instagram. There's, I have 12-year-old twins, so I hear TikTok. I hear everything. But the reality is that 9 out of 10 people today are going to go and pick their phone up and search for a mechanic, and it's more likely going to be on Google. So Google's an ever-changing and evolving platform, and this is just an example. But you want to stay ahead of that. You want to forward think. What's their next move? If that's what's driving your car count now, do we just ignore it because it's working, or do we continue to stay on top of it? So
Right.
answer is forward thinking on the things that work so you can stay ahead and that can be maintained. And at the same time, try to find, hey, our car count's up, but we're spending money over here, and that's not lending to our car count. So work on it, pull it back or something. So always evaluating, even when the car count's good.
Yeah, that you just brought up such an important point, because most people that market today in any business are going to have more than one channel they're using.
Correct.
And if you can't tell which one is actually getting you the results, you're just shooting in the dark. And it's important to know which of your marketing dollars are actually getting you a return and which aren't.
Right. And analyzing those KPIs or those analytics is something you need to know how to do, or you have to have someone who knows how to do it so that you're not making bad decisions.
Absolutely. And it's never ran a shop. I'm the last guy that you want underneath the hood. I want to be very clear with that. I always tell my clients I have a laundry list of stuff you do not want Phil to do, but the 2 or 3 things, it's truth. And this is one of them. But my point is, it's hard enough to run a shop, I would think, never mind trying to figure out all your marketing as well. And kind of I want to go back to a point that you made, Bob, and this is just my opinion. There's hundreds of marketing companies now. They come out of the woodworks when the Yellow Pages went away. All the Yellow Page companies became experts overnight. We're an expert.
Yeah.
No, you're not. So one thing that I always advise, because I'm big into recommendations, whether you do it with Drive or you don't do it with Drive, this is what you should do. But the thing that I think a lot of shop owners have to be careful of is so a lot of marketing companies that can sell it, but they can't execute it. They really, truly don't know it. It is a craft. Experience counts.
Well, I said it's gotten so sophisticated.
Yeah, and what's good about Drive too, and the marketing we're doing is that we're not out. I say this on my calls. My next call after this little Drive Live, I'm not going to talk to a restaurant or a dentist. I'm going to talk to an auto repair shop. I'm going to talk to a collision or a fleet or a tow. So the fact is, not only do we try to bring some experience to the table, but we have that vast experience in the vertical, which is huge. It's significant to be able to understand all the different aspects from all over the country.
You know,
Yeah,
something that Chris
that's
and I have experience and know, and I'm not sure, Phil, if you do, but having consulted for a lot of years, it's so important that a shop owner understands the basics of marketing and how it really works. Whether they do it themselves or not is a different matter, but they need to know how it works so that they can stay on top of it themselves and make correct decisions about, one, and this is a big one, especially nowadays, the demographics of their market.
Yes.
Because as Chris, as you said, it's not a single channel. It's not the Yellow Page ads.
No, it's not just a matter of let me get a half page and away you go. And I mean, there's all different kinds of aspects. I mean, it's important to market back to your base. I mean, a lot of times that you know, you can get hung up on the internet and the Google aspect, but marketing back to your base is important too. You know, making reaching out to your base, whether it's a newsletter or just a quarterly email or a promotion, just touching that base again and that client, you know, it shows like you care, you're paying attention. Because I think a lot of times too is that marketing, when things are going well and the numbers look good, is you can kind of lose sight a little bit. At least in my experience, I can see businesses lose sight a bit of what got them there. So I think marketing back to your base, understanding that not everybody goes to Google, that there's other avenues and other platforms. And, you know, I think a business owner having a good idea of return on investment, making sure you're emphasizing the real necessity for them to track when they pick the phone up. Have you brought your car in here before? No. Well, how did you hear about us? That's an extremely important aspect of really understanding what marketing's working for a shop.
absolutely. Now, we posted in the chat about the marketing analysis that you do on a regular basis. Walk us through how that would go. What could a new shop owners new to Drive expect if they were to sign up for that analysis?
Great question, Chris. Typically what I'll do is I'll deep dive first off into, well, the first thing I typically talk about is what are their goals? How do they feel about things? I think it's important as a marketing person to try to understand what a business owner feels, how they see it. It may not be correct, and I've been doing it long enough to where I'll kindly correct them. But I'm always interested, and I think it's important to hear how a business owner feels. What do they think their presence is like? How is their marketing working? And then after kind of digesting that, processing that, I'll dive right in. We'll take a look at the website. We'll go over some important aspects to a website, because we use website real broadly. Oh, you need a website. Well, there's a lot of components to that website that need to click and that needs to be on spot. We'll look at their presence on the internet, make sure they can be found when people are searching for things related to what they do. Auto repair, for example, not just they're looking for Joe's Auto Repair, because they'll always find that. Making sure their information's uniform. And then we go into talking about things that we know firsthand at Drive, because we do it every day, what works for auto repair shops. We can also talk about recruitment and how that ties into your website. Talk about offline marketing. We joke about the Yellow Pages, but this may be no surprise to you. That's where I got my start about 25 years ago. So I soon realized that, hey, this isn't going to work anymore. This Google thing is. And then I moved into the internet side of things about 20 years ago. But I think just deep diving in and analyzing what a client has right now, educating them on what are the best practices and what they should do and what will help, or what we think they should do and will help, is important. But what I love about my marketing, my strategy sessions, is that really I can talk about anything marketing. We'll have clients that have a website and clients that are with us and things are going well, but they'll want to talk about the year ahead, or they'll want to talk about, hey, I thought about doing some direct mail, or what do you think of this, and so forth. And clients that aren't with us, that don't have websites and such, that's the first thing I look to touch on. We share screen, so it's not just Phil talking. I'm showing examples of sites that have the things I'm talking about. So I love it. At Drive, being an agency, you always have the open door policy to talk about marketing. I mean, that's what we do, right? But about 6 months ago, we started these strategy sessions where our clients and potential clients can choose a time at their convenience, and it carves out a half hour, and we talk marketing, and it's been extremely successful. So
And what is this? What does this eval cost the shop?
absolutely nothing. That's the best part. Free. I could talk all day about marketing, as you probably can tell by me babbling on here, but it's absolutely no cost. And here's the cool part. With my experience, I've learned over the years is to keep things real. So it's not a sales oriented call. I'm not going to try to sell you something. I truly enjoy giving back, and it's really the Drive model. We want to help small businesses, and it's my little window of helping with the marketing. So educating and providing answers, and there's no doubt about it, I would love for them to let Drive do it. But if they don't, they walk away with some information and information that can help their shop. But again, no cost whatsoever.
And this is
And is this
available.
for Drive clients, or is it for?
This is
Anybody.
for anyone that will talk to me that owns an auto repair shop, collision, anything remotely in those verticals. So no, this is for any and all comers. Matter of fact, we just had a call a couple of days ago at an auto glass company out of San Antonio. Don't know if he's watching right now, but auto glass gentleman out of San Antonio, sorry. Had a lot of work that needed to be done. I spelled it out very, very clearly and said, hey, this is what you need to do. He understood it, and got a contract, and we'll be building him a site, here starting next week. So it's open to any and all comers.
Fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit about things like social media and Google ads, and how do those fit in?
Sure. Well, here's the thing with Google that I always, when I'm sharing my screen, it explains very, very well. But here's my take on Google Ads. I think Google Ads, if done properly and managed properly, you have to have good ad quality, and there's where the ads go to. All this stuff matters. Bunch of boring stuff, but the reality is, if it's done properly, it's probably, in my opinion, the best return on investment that you can possibly get anywhere for an auto repair shop. I firmly believe that. I think what a lot of people don't understand, because Google's tricky. When I go in and I talk about Google, or when I think about Google, I'm always hesitant a little bit. I'm like, because they're a tough platform to figure out sometimes. But the reality is, you have to think about this when it comes to Google Ads. When us as consumers click on the maps, we all do it, right? Click to call on the mobile. Google doesn't make 1 cent, absolutely nothing, no revenue. And this is a company that's doing pretty well, we can all agree. When they click on an organic, which is the result below the maps, again, Google doesn't make anything. So that space, that valuable real estate where those ads are placed, is a vast majority of their revenue. And the reason I point that out is I believe, it's my opinion, that Google has a huge stake in making sure those paid ads work.
Absolutely.
It's in their best interest to put those ads in front of consumers that have shown. We all know, we all get tracked with our cookies and our malware and all that stuff that drives us crazy. The one time it comes in handy is when you're doing paid ads and Google has all that information on someone that needs a mechanic. or an auto repair shop, and they're putting that ad up in front of it. So I think Google ads are extremely important. I think that has to be in the right hands. Here at Drive, we've got 300 and plus paid ad accounts that we manage every day. Real people at Drive. We don't outsource the work. It's here. Always hands-on, and a lot of analytics to work with, but paid ads extremely important. Little gateway into social media. I think we all know it. Facebook's here to stay, and there's a demographic that spends a lot of time on that platform. You also have Instagram, various different platforms. I think one of the keys that a lot of people don't understand about Facebook is not only the platform itself can generate, but Google is a very smart company. And what I mean by that is they don't just look at what people are doing on Google. They'll look at social media platforms like Facebook. They'll look at other directories and so forth. And they're what they're called social signals. So basically, to keep it real simple, because we can put us all asleep if I keep going any more detail, but being active on Facebook not only helps that platform, it helps you generate potential car count there, but it also, Google looking to that platform and seeing that you're continuously writing content that has to do with what you do for a living, personalizing your Facebook's always a good thing, but all these things tie in. They're all connected in one way or the other, and that's an important thing that I like to stress on my calls. Is you might not be the biggest, maybe you're the biggest Facebook fan, but let's say you're not the biggest Facebook fan. You still need to address it. It's still connected to even the slightest things you can do just across the internet.
Yeah, you bring up a great point about being active. Marketing used to be basically a set it and forget it with your Yellow Page ad or your newsletter or whatever. And you just can't attack digital marketing that way, can you?
Oh, absolutely not. No, there's no putting your feet up on the coffee table and just letting it go at it. As I said earlier, not only the various platforms that people, because we always go to Google, but people use all kinds of DuckDuckGo, and believe it or not, people use Bing. You plug in a new printer, and then all of a sudden your search engine's Bing. So there's Yahoo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, it's the truth. Yeah.
And how did I get there?
Yeah, no, exactly. Why am I getting these?
No, it's true, man. It's totally true.
There's Yelpers. I mean, I have my own. We're all a fan of our own thing, right? But there's Yelpers, and there's people that love Yelp and are on there, and they're a certain demographic.
Well, not only that, but if you ask Siri, she asks Yelp.
Absolutely,
Right.
That's another thing too. Alexa, Siri, Cortana, they're all tied in. So it's extremely important to, again, we talked about earlier, forward thinking, staying ahead. If you're going to try to keep pace with Google, good luck. You better kind of read between the lines, stay ahead of things. SEO, which is one of my responsibilities. Both you guys might know, I'm kind of the guy that's responsible for the several hundred sites we have to make sure that they're optimized. And that's, in the old days, you can put up some stuff and it's good for a year if you know what you're doing. Not anymore. It's an ongoing process.
Right.
So yeah, everything is a moving target, and it's just to stay ahead and analyze. That's what I spend a half my day, is just reading stuff, analyzing.
Yeah.
things.
And
Yeah.
and this is something that I want to stress, is that, you do that full time. And for a shop owner to try to attain that level of skill and knowledge of this particular topic, which is a very technical topic, is a daunting task. You might as well also try to become a lawyer and an accountant.
Yeah, absolutely.
You will not have time to run your business because you'll be so busy learning another specialty. And that's, I can't stress this enough. When you get into a highly specialized topic that is vital for your survival as a business owner, get somebody on your team who can be the specialist and be the professional to guide you at the very least in terms of what's working and what's not. Because I know that, and I've been down this road in a number of different topics connected to business, you could just go down that rabbit hole and you forget to run your business because you're trying to learn how to do SEO or how to save money on your taxes without talking to an accountant and all that kind of
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Don't try to save money by doing it all yourself. It'll actually cost you more if you do it that way.
Sure, because you're not spending time doing the thing that makes you the most money, and that's running your business.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I tell clients and prospective clients, you identify what you need to do. Then the second biggest part is you identify who's going to do it for you.
Right.
Identify the right vendor. And I think, back to strategy sessions, when I share the screen, I intentionally show clients things that I know that other digital marketing companies won't show. I'll show one or two non put you to sleep SEO aspects so they can see, hey, you know what? I've never seen it like that before. And
Right.
here's the cool part, guys. We're all consumers, so if you can show a business owner some things that not only from a business owner standpoint makes sense, but from a consumer, they can look at it and say, hey, yeah, that's why they do that. Okay, that's why I see that working. That's why that site's always in front of me. And those little telltales signs really help you identify if a vendor knows what they're talking about. It's like if I bring my car into an auto repair shop and I know something's got to be done and the guy tells me something else is wrong, I'm going to scratch my head. But if he's telling me, yep, you got to do that, and that, to me, it's kind of the same process. Yeah. So I think it's really important. There's the brother-in-laws that can try to do it. And I know that's been done over time, but it's good to put it into hands. And here's the cool part about Drive. We love this stuff. There's agencies that are they churn out numbers. They bring them in and they're out the back door they go. I've been in this business long enough to tell you that that's the norm. With us, our retention rate's high, and it's because we know what we're doing, but we care.
Well, plus, with Drive, you really have a three-prong approach. We have you, the expert in marketing and services in that area. You have your business coach who's guiding you on how to read KPIs to understand. And then we have workshops, which gives you the theory and the knowledge behind how it all works.
Absolutely. And Bob, do you know how often I talk to the coaches and the account reps and gentlemen like yourself running the workshops? All the time.
Every day.
So the insight that we have to what the shop owners' KPIs, we're back and forth. So we're not just some marketing arm over here. I'm talking to those team members you just mentioned, including you two, on a regular basis. You're talking to me about your client. That aspect, that three-prong, all connected, just makes everything better, but really helps us on the marketing side, being able to have that access to the business coaches and the account reps and have an understanding of what the client's dealing with. And I will say one thing too about Drive. We are the only, this is a challenge to anyone that may be watching or sees this, we are the only digital marketing company that I'm aware of that is as aggressive as we are with our websites and our hiring pages, with pop-ups and landing pages. And obviously we have our team builder app that goes into our website. And I don't have to be a coach, guys, to know that, because I'm in the marketing, that 95% of our clients are hiring. And you'll go to any one of our competitors or so-called competitors and where's your hiring page? You're hiring? Oh, I don't know. So I think that's another sign too, when you see us thinking ahead and making sure we're using the resource of marketing to help not just your car count, but other aspects that are important to your business.
That's great.
Absolutely. Well, we're actually at the end of our time already, surprisingly, and we could cover a lot more.
I want to talk more.
We haven't even touched on things like directories and OEM certifications and how those help collision shops or any of that kind of stuff. And it all ties in. So if you want to get a real close look done of your marketing and where you can improve your shop's marketing, then click on the link in the chat and schedule yourself for a consultation with Phil.
Yeah, find out what's under the hood.
Yeah.
And on that note, everybody have a great weekend. And next week, we're going to be talking to Kevin Reichelt, and we're going to be talking about managing change. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Phil.
Bye, guys. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.